Hello.
Oh, yeah. Now recording. Yeah. The now recording thing. Yeah, I got now recording.
Excellent. Good. I'm glad you've done that,
Nailed
Slack. It's
it.
almost as regular as my official sign-off that I do every week. Speaking of which, we better can't sign off. We don't sign on. Hello and welcome to the Minecraft Update Podcast. This week, our sponsor is air conditioning units, as I think pretty much everyone has one turned off. So apologies if the audio isn't up to scratch this week. Also, Jessie's got a couple of men on the roof that might fall through at any moment, so this could be interesting. Hold on to your haps, peeps. It's episode 26. Jeez, guys, what are we doing?
We're having
Breaking
fun, man.
things.
Yeah, we're just going with the flow.
Jessie, why have you got men on your roof? What's going on?
Well, as I have mentioned before, there's like a hole. Not a hole. This one's just a crack. There's a crack in my ceiling. It has been there since I have moved in 6 years ago. Literally have made report after report about it. And they came to check my floor this weekend. And we're like, oh, so what did you say about your ceiling? Like, why have you never told us? And I was like, literally, I've told you every time I've seen you. And they were like, oh, yeah, we'll get on that. And I was like, cool, whatever. Didn't expect to hear anything. And today, like, I don't know what, it was an hour before the podcast, they just showed up. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're here to look at your roof. And I was like, oh, okay. So they're up there looking at the roof. No guarantees that they're going to do anything about it, but they're looking at it. So, you know.
But if it's a crack
It's a
in the
step.
ceiling, why are they on the roof?
Because it leaks. So they're
Right.
trying to find the leak on the top, and then they will do the ceiling, because what's the point of fixing the ceiling if there's still a hole
Well,
somewhere?
yeah, I guess that makes
Yeah.
sense. All right.
So-
Yeah, logic.
Yeah. So that's what's going on right now.
Excellent. Well, that's what's going on right now. But what's been going on this week, Jessie?
Oh my gosh, guys. I have been on a TB roll. I have been making videos. I already have 2 videos stockpiled that are edited even. So I'm like super happy. I have been streaming more than, once a week, which has been amazing. Died many times to that warden thing that has just been added. And yeah, that's been fun. But other than that, just lots of life stuff happening at once. And, it's stressful. So I'm glad that the stress is also being balanced by just like good things happening, content wise, I guess.
Good. It's nice to be balanced.
Yeah.
Slack, how balanced is your life at the minute?
Well, like the rest of y'all, I'm hiding indoors to avoid the nuclear summer that's here. I mean, it's June, and it's already over 100 degrees like every other day. This is insane. Records are breaking nonstop. I'm terrified of what July and August are going to be bringing. Aside from that, been recording and editing, and I've come to a consensus. I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I still hate editing. I still hate it with a passion. Like, nothing I do makes it fun. I don't know why. Like, if it's Minecraft or it's a different game, it's just like I get into the editing mode and I'm just like, yeah, no, this is no fun. No, this is no fun. Watchful, I love you. You're my best friend. Please don't ever leave. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, speaking of heat, last week I said that in the UK, I don't think it's ever gone above 30 that I can remember. And the next day it hit 32 in my back garden. And it's been very warm, but it's been pleasant because my house is, I don't know, it faces the wrong direction. So it doesn't get the sun till the evening. So most of the time it's a lot cooler in the house than it is outside, which is lovely because then I don't need air conditioning when it's hot. However, today's not been that hot. It's been it's bouncing around 19, 20. It did hit 25 earlier on in the day, but it's been cooler this afternoon. But for some reason, I'm on fire in the house. The house has just decided to cook me alive today. So I don't understand the science. I'm sure there must be some, but yeah, that's.
Let me translate this to all the people that only understand America, okay, or Fahrenheit, okay. Foxy's over there saying it's 25, everybody. 25. Now that's Celsius, which is 77 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
77.
I know.
That's
I'm
what
not
it's like
complaining
that
of the
today.
heat outside. It's lovely. I could stand in it all day. But when the heat in the house gets stuffy, and it hasn't been until today, which is convenient, is the day that I wrap myself in a giant thick curtain and record a podcast. It's just not nice when it's stuffy indoors, is it? Because you can't escape from it. And we
Well,
don't
I
have
get
air
it.
conditioning
Big difference.
units here, or at least most people don't, because we don't need them. I think I've
Well, you
mentioned
set
it
up
before.
higher on the belt. You know what I mean? Y'all set up higher than like most of the U.S., so you all have experienced cooler temperatures all the time.
Yeah, we only get warm weather because of the Gulf Stream. If that didn't exist, the UK would freeze over, because it's like it genuinely would. If you look at it geographically, it's high up there, close to all of the cold stuff. So we're lucky that we do get that, because I don't want it to freeze over. Anyway, this week, guys. Oh, geez, I've done so much Minecraft content. It's unbelievable. I did a live stream with Mitz, which was the Java Edition hardcore one, where we stumbled. It was only like the third episode, so we've done like 6 hours on it. We've just moved house. We've got nothing, and we stumbled across the deep dark, and we're there setting shriekers off, and I'm like, oh, no. People in chat was like, yeah, you can do it even if you're not in an ancient city. And I'm like, well,
Yeah,
okay,
me.
run away.
I did that. You guys, my anxiety was through the roof. You were sitting there, and I was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing that?"
Just
I was
standing
so
there
freaked out for
breaking
you.
blocks, setting off loads of vibrations. Gee, so that was scary after we realised that. And that's it. That's all the Minecraft content I've done. Other than that, though, I've now finished my prune tool. I've given it a GUI. It's all very fancy. I've made a video on that, which is coming out tomorrow. Oh, in fact, yeah, tomorrow. So I'm feeling good that I'm not going to be strapped to the computer for the next week doing even more on that. So,
Wait,
yeah.
You've now put a GUI on that tool.
Yeah. And it's
I
very
just
fancy.
spent a week.
It even makes backups for you.
I spent a
Backups.
week trying to like fix Slackville because of issues that needed to be dealt with. And I had to go through Ambient, and then I had to go through Chunker, and I had to go through. And yours just gave me a headache because it didn't have no GUI.
It doesn't have a map. It doesn't do that. So
I
it's just
didn't
like
need a map.
you load it up, and it's like, click on this button to show a list of your Minecraft world folders that's attached to your game, a little bit like MCC Tool Chest or Universal Minecraft Editor, or click this button to find a world that's somewhere else. And once you picked your world, it comes up with a screen that's got overworld, nether, and end coordinates, and you can tick a box to say, I want to trim that one, and that one, and that one, or just one, or all of them, and it'll do them all at the same time. And then there's another little box in the bottom right-hand corner that says optimize world after it's done, which will optimize your database for you. And then you just click the button to go. It'll pop up, say, do you want to make a backup? And if you say yes, it makes a backup. If you say no, it just gets on with the job, and a couple of minutes later, it's done.
That sounds
Good talk.
amazing.
Yeah, I'm happy. Just wish I'd been here a week ago.
I was trying. Jeez. Speaking of trying, guys, a lot of people tried to send us feedback this week, and I have to say that I've seen the messages, I saw what they've done, and you're welcome, peeps. I went out of my way to find every last piece. So,
Wait, did you find the pigeon one?
Yeah. Starting with the Dylan Arts, who says, I wrote some questions on a paper, gave it to a pigeon, and told it to take it to Foxy. And I found that pigeon, and I read the note. The note read, "Are you even listening to me, stupid pigeon?" So, I mean, it's not exactly feedback, but, we got some. And Dylan Arts did another one, didn't they, Jessie?
Yes, Dylan Arts also said, also, I put my feedback in my text with my brother. Let's see if Foxy finds it there.
And I did. I found them. And it said the Minecraft Update podcast is so good, Mojang should make it official. Also, you left your underwear in my room again and they stink. Which probably should have been 2 messages, Dylan. Jeez.
Oh, interesting. Did you find the one that Rotated Alface did? They said,
did.
I wrote some feedback on some banknotes and then spent them at McDonald's. It'll be fine.
They did, and I found them, and I don't think it was feedback for us, though, because it says, I prefer it without salad, but I don't want you to spit in it. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, Deruza says, I sent my feedback via smoke signals. Weird pigeon got caught in the smoke and fell out of the sky. And I deciphered those smoke signals. I could just about see them on the horizon, and it said, the Minecraft Update podcast is clearly the best Minecraft podcast around. Oh, whoops, I seem to have set fire to my neighbour's tree. Oh, geez, now there's a pigeon on the bonfire. So, be careful if you're going to send smoke signals to for that, That's all I'm going to say.
Poor pigeon.
Yeah,
Poor
be all right.
pigeon.
Be all right.
Mr. Balrog said, I was going through make a link trail through Twitter, Reddit, Discord, and back to someone else's Twitter.
And they did. And I found the message at the end of the trail, and it says, I wish I hadn't gone down this rabbit hole. I've got a lot to do today. Also, the Minecraft Update podcast is great. So thank you, Mr. Balrog. Easy to find. You should try and make it harder next time.
These people are really nice with their comments to us. I mean, I didn't quite hear Ply when they said, I noticed the wind was blowing towards where Foxy lives, so I whispered my feedback into the wind.
But I did hear it, Slack. I did hear it, and it said, I had to really squint to make it out, which is odd because it's, audio and it doesn't really affect your eyes, but it helps when you're listening to someone whispering to squint, I find. It says, I wonder if that idiot can hear me. I wonder if that awesome fox can hear me, just in case. So there we go.
Squinting when that's kind of like turning down the radio when you're getting near your destination while driving, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
Really
yeah.
helps. Okay. Really helps. No. Blind Eclipse only just let me know just before we started recording this podcast that they said, Foxy, have you been to the beach this week? You might find some podcast feedback in some messages in bottles I threw into my local river. And you know what, Blind Eclipse? I did, and I read them, and it says, I hope these letters don't get wet. The cork's a bit loose. Anyway, I wanted to say that Slack and Jelly... It didn't say that. It said, I wanted to say that Slack and Jessiie are by far the most. And then the paper got wet, so I couldn't read the rest of it, sadly. So I don't know if that was good or bad feedback for you both. Jeez. It could have said Jenny. It was a bit smudged.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yep.
Goodness gracious. Zeta said, when the post arrives, check it. I put feedback in there.
Yeah, this just came through again a few minutes ago before we started recording, and I did check the mail, and unfortunately, all I got was one that said, sorry we missed you. Come to the collection office after 48 hours to collect your mail. So I'm sure they're having a great time with that feedback over at the collection office. And that was it. That was all of the stuff that I found strewn around the internet and in back gardens and down at the beach. But some of these idiots still managed to leave feedback through the systems we quite clearly told them not to. We got a whole bunch on the feedback form, we got a whole bunch in the Discord, and we got a whole bunch in the emails. So I guess, the real feedback should probably start with Rotated Owlface, who says, the amount of shade that got thrown at me about my Discord comment is unreal. I may never photosynthesize again. Nevertheless, it was nice to see the Discord get a shout-out this week, however sarcastically it was said. Thank you, Rolf. I hope you've enjoyed the process.
We love Rolf. All right. High Hopes says, thank you for discussing the video. Was great to hear the point of view of folks who are actually dedicated to Bedrock and someone with genuine access to the issue. Sorry if I ruffled any feathers. And I don't think any feathers were ruffled. It was a good discussion, I think, to have. It was interesting. I liked it.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're not sure what that's referring to, that was the ant venom video that we tore to pieces last week to give our opinions on both sides. We gave a rather negative cast on it at the beginning of the podcast, and then a more positive sort of spin on why those things are good, I guess, later on in the questions. So, yeah, that was good. High hopes. Thank you.
Ethrit there, Foxy. I think you may have missed one here. Said in response to Foxy's request in the latest podcast, I have written my feedback on a piece of paper and threw it into the wind as a paper airplane. Hope you got it.
I did get that one, but it was so obscene. I had to tear it up and put it through the shredder because it just wasn't. You couldn't read that on the podcast. It was awful.
That's
it's really unfortunate,
Yeah.
Where's that shame bell?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Cucumbers says, hey, update crew, I have some thoughts regarding your discussion last week on Ant Venom's video. I personally enjoyed the video and thought that all of his points were valid reasons. I mostly agree with you on the developer edition, but I wish that Mojang would add the F3 debug screen because it already is on the dev version and wouldn't take too much effort. It just seems weird given how many players have been asking for it. Most of the bugs Ant Venom pointed out are not very relevant to the majority of the player base, but there are certainly bugs such as mob despawning that needed to be fixed, but Mojang chooses not to. Thanks for the amazing podcast and keep up the great work. I think we butchered this one to death last week, really, didn't we? We've all got our opinions on what should and shouldn't be in. At the end of the day, it's not up to us what gets added into the game. It's up to Mojang, and if they've got reasons why they don't want to do it, then they've got reasons why they don't want to do it, and that's up to them. As for the despawning stuff, I didn't realize we had a problem with despawning.
No, not that unless they're talking about the entity data issue.
Yeah, that possibly, but I guess, yeah.
I don't remember that being in the video, though. Not.
No.
I think the despawning one that they were talking about was, oh man, I can't remember. It was like an old thing that I think they've just addressed. Like it wasn't something that was like hidden. It was something that was just addressed as being something like Bedrock limitations or something. I can't recall.
No,
It might be worth looking into at some point. But
Indeed.
well, is that Boxalotl or is that Buxalotl? I never
Buxalotl, it
know.
looks like to me.
Buxalotl. Okay. So Buxalotl says, "Hello, Foxy, Slack, and Jessie. In last week's episode, I said that the warden shouldn't do its sonic boom when chasing after you. You asked when it should do it, and I meant that it only should do it when you are, for example, on a tower or hiding in a wall, because then it can't reach you. But when it's chasing you, it can reach you. It's just too fast." And I now have I have a little bit more insight and maybe a different opinion than I had last week, because I have many times been near a warden this past week. And I think I agree. I did not realize how fast that thing is. I watched back footage that I had, and that thing goes from like 50 blocks away in like a second. Like it is so quick. There's nothing you can do to get away from it except for fly. And it kind of feels cheap. But I mean, I still think that they did it for a reason. I'm not upset about the Sonic, but I definitely see your point better now.
Don't worry, Jessie. I actually have a solution for this in our discussion that we're going to have after the news. So, yeah, stay tuned if you can, unless your men fall through the roof, in which case you're going to miss it. Slack.
What is that? Ethon? That was a...
Ethon Twee Diggy D.
That's an interesting name. I'm a fellow listener. I think Mojang is going to merge Bedrock and Java into one version sometime in the future. Don't quote me on that.
Kind of a bit late. We had to quote you on it to read it out, but
No.
I don't think it's up to you, Ethan, as far as I'm aware, unless maybe it is. Maybe you work for Microsoft. Who knows? But I don't worry. We're not going to hold it against you if you're wrong.
Yeah,
maybe,
no,
possibly,
not at all.
Might do,
probably,
possibly.
Yeah. Just saying.
09 Patman says, "Thanks, Slack. Finally, someone who reads my name correctly. It's not 09 Patman. It's 09 Patman. I don't know why I still bother using the email. After all Foxy said about how horrible it is, all I said last podcast in the feedback is I see a pattern. Slack hears a thunderstorm and Jessie gets bronchitis. Then Jessie says then Jessie has a voice echoey, and next it's very toasty for Slack and he has air conditioning. I don't agree with Slack. The word I would describe the weather is brrr. Great pod again. 09 Patman."
Apparently, your is all wrong because it's hot everywhere. Just saying.
Yeah. Clearly, you live in somewhere wrong. That's cold. That's not here.
Yeah.
Well, not wrong. Man. You know what I mean. You're not sharing our weather.
00709. Here we go with 09 Patman today.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder if I'm getting that electricity thing again.
Why are you going brrr?
No, but I just looked over at Audacity and there's these weird little tiny lines that weren't there before.
Oh geez. No, Jessie.
Hold on. I'm gonna stop this recording real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna export it and then I'm gonna start a new one and see if that helps, because I want to try to make your life a little bit easier since we do have the
I enjoy spending the first couple of hours of Friday mornings fixing your audio. It's nice. Something to do.
I thought you did. I mean, I don't get why she's trying to change it if that's what you enjoy doing.
I don't understand. It's like, I love putting ridiculous numbers of effects on her voice to make her sound all echoey and gross and broken.
I mean, didn't you enjoy it when you had to, filter all my stuff, then realize that it was the wrong episode?
Yeah, thanks, Slack. I didn't bring that up on the podcast, actually. You not uploading your audio, me thinking the last week's one was that week's and spending 20 minutes doing it, and then... Yeah, thanks. You're wondering why the podcast is often late on a Friday. Not my fault. You've got a piece of feedback to read here, Jessie.
Do I?
Yeah, it's your one next. It's Benji. Sat here waiting for you patiently.
I'm sorry, Benji. I will take better care. Let's see. What does Benji say? Benji says, "Hey guys, I just wanted to make a suggestion. Slack keeps saying Jesus in the pod. I'm 13 and not allowed to say it. So that means most 7 to 10-year-olds' parents probably don't want them hearing that. Hope you all have a great week. I know that you talked about no words, etc. last week, but there are still some parents out there who don't like words being used like that." From Benji. And here's my thoughts, right? Yes, there are categorically words that I think we all know many people don't say, right? Jesus is one of those, because there are a lot of religious people who just really don't like it. And is that something that we could try and filter out? Yeah, it's, sure, but things happen. Like accidents happen, things slip up. If that's something we're used to saying, because not everybody feels the same, it's a thing. However, I want to emphasize that you can't control what your parent or like what your kids hear in the real world, right? Like there's gonna be people like at school, there's gonna be people everywhere. So if it really makes you that uncomfortable for your children to hear something or for you to hear something, I honestly, as a mom, I would suggest having those conversations with your kids, knowing, okay, you might hear something. Just because you hear something doesn't mean you're allowed to say it. These are our rules for our house, what have you, and just explain to them why your rules are that way. I think we can't underestimate kids, right? So just personally, I will try to take that into consideration for me, but I think it's important to know that things are going to happen. Words are going to get said, words are going to get heard, and, maybe have realistic expectations for the outside world.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I would just follow that up by saying that was a very nice way of saying it and dealing with it. But in real hard truth time, if your parents are not happy with you listening to or hearing words on a podcast that you're listening to, then I would probably tell them about it and stop listening to the podcast. As much as we don't want to push listeners away, what we say on here, we generally consider to be within the realms of what's okay. And yeah, Jessie's right. Jesus saying that can be, offending some religious people. But I think most people realize that we're a group of adults putting a podcast out that's not aimed at children. It's not, we don't want to make it so children can't listen to it, which is why we don't do any proper swearing. But we are who we are, and we say what we say, and we have our own mannerisms. And I don't, certain things I would say, yeah, we should probably change that because that's, bad in that situation. But I think on the majority, I would say it's not an issue for. So yeah, if you're hearing words in here that you're not allowed to say, then double check with your parents. Am I allowed to listen to this podcast? And if they say no, just don't listen to it. And I'm sorry, but I don't see this as a point that we really need to make a big change on, personally. Because
no.
Yeah.
No. Like us as a group, the core that records the group, if we have an issue with anything that's said, we set the standards here. You know what I mean? And you're never going to please everybody all the time, and everybody's going to have differences of opinion. It's like that one word that Jessie uses that you bleep out. Some people consider it offensive, some people don't. Yeah. You're never going to please everybody. You just have to choose a standard that the group is happy with in this situation, and we roll with it.
Yeah, and I don't think it comes up a great deal. I mean, it's maybe been once or twice. And again, I would just say that we've covered this before, but I look at what we produce here for this particular podcast, not necessarily my videos or streams, but for this particular podcast, I think, right, as long as we're falling in the lines of what you would expect to see on TV for a family audience, I'm not saying kids films, I'm saying like stuff like Doctor Who or stuff that's designed for the whole family, Star Wars, things like that. Yeah, Star Wars, you wouldn't want young kids watching. I wouldn't want Oliver watching a lot of the stuff that goes on in Star Wars. But,
no.
But it's a family thing, it's for people of an age. And I'm not going to restrict us for stuff that's not suitable for younger children. But I will say if it's stuff that I would consider is out of the realms of family content, then I would say, you know, guys, we can't say that. Let's make sure we don't say that again. So with this one, maybe think about it, Slack. But if it comes out, it comes out. I'm not gonna penalise you for it personally. Do you think that's fair, Jessie?
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's the best way moving forward.
No, yeah, I totally agree. As a group, we set the standards. And I also agree with Jessie and Foxy both here too. If it's something that you're not allowed to say, then you might want to inform your parents and let them make the decision at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't like Oliver saying it either, but I wouldn't mind him hearing it, because he hears a lot worse. It's a lot worse. So I think there's, you know, saying things is one thing, repeating what you hear is a different one. So yeah. Anyway, moving on to the last piece of feedback, Slack. We've got one from Jonas Craft 11.
And they said, "Hello, everyone. Sorry I burdened you by sending my message not on Discord." Can I even read this now? I mean, they didn't send it on Discord in Carrier Pigeon.
Shame.
Last podcast, it surprised me on how many people don't like the Warden Sonic Boom Attack, because I think it's a good way to make sure that you stay quiet.
I missed half the feedback on this one again.
Something felt weird there. Maybe it's just me.
It's like the last sentence is only half of it, so maybe I've done a bit of a weird copy and paste thing again.
And try to get extra sneaky while around it.
We get the gist of that. Yeah, I haven't encountered it in the same way Jessie has yet, but I'm looking forward to it, and I really, really, really enjoyed that stream of the genuine fear. You don't normally get that in Minecraft.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops. I messed up. I'm somewhere I shouldn't be.
Exactly. So I don't want them to change it. I want that. I want it to be terrifying when I finally do go in there. Yes, maybe it would be nice if I had a chance, but that really is on me for going there, you know? So,
yeah.
Jeez. Right, Jessie, unless you've got anything you want to say on that, that's the end of this week's feedback.
Absolutely. I think we're ready to move on to the next one.
Okay, in that case, if you have any feedback, then please do send us an email to news@theminecraftupdate.com, or you can fill out our fancy feedback form, which you can find on our Not Finished website. And don't forget, peeps, this is an unofficial Minecraft podcast, just in case you'd forgotten. I thought I'd throw that in there. Right, moving on to the news. The news. We have almost no news at all this week. We've got a pre-release one for Minecraft Java Edition 1.19.1, and we've got a Minecraft preview 1.19.10.24, and both of them feel very much like they're done and waiting to come out. But we're going to go into it anyway, because that's what we do. Starting with Minecraft Java Edition 1.19.1 pre-release run, and basically they have increased how long the cooldown is for alley duplication. It's now 5 minutes instead of 2.5 minutes, which I don't think is going to resolve any of the issues of people over duplicating the allays. But, you know, if you use the Echo Shard instead of the Amethyst, I'm just saying. And we mentioned that they'd added a new chat reporting system in last week, I believe it was, maybe the week before, and now they have a system in there that players that have been reported can be banned from online play and realms after it's been reviewed by a moderator. Now, I'm assuming that means that's a human moderator, which means there shouldn't, fingers crossed, be any automatic bans. But if you do get banned, the game will show a notice screen on startup, letting you know the reason for the ban and how long the ban is valid for. So it sounds like they're not always permanent ones, which is probably a good thing, I guess, because it's nice for people to be able to learn their lessons. It'd be nice if they had that on Discord, actually, because sometimes we get a little bit ban happy, don't we? We find ourselves a little bit like, oh, they've said something that, you know, they've broken the rules once. I think kicking them doesn't really work because they just jump straight back in and they don't get a reason for it. If Discord had a system where you could go, right, I don't want you to be on the Discord for a week, here's the reason, then they've got an opportunity to learn that, right?
Yeah, or even if you ban them, you could put a time limit on it.
Yeah. A timeout system feels like it would be the better option.
Yeah, but I think timeout for, like, not just 5 minutes or something like that, but timeout for a few days, I think, in some cases, depending on the severity of it. So I think that would be good. Anyway,
I agree.
That's Discord, not Minecraft Java Edition. And the rest of it is literally just bug fixes. There was a whole bunch of bug fixes. I'm not going to go into them as usual, but if you would like to read them, then please do check out the change logs. The links to those will be in the description below. So moving on from Java Edition over to Bedrock Edition, the preview 1.19.10.24 is probably the smallest changelog I have ever seen for Bedrock Edition. And the weird thing about this one is that Jay, otherwise known as Megaspud on Twitter, who normally does the announcement for these, announced it yesterday. And then David Fries, who's the one who actually puts them out, sent him a message on Twitter going, oh, yeah, it's not actually out till the 24th, which is tomorrow as we're recording this. So we got a changelog, but we don't actually have any access to the preview for another day yet, which is really bizarre. But there we go. That's just how things go, I guess. They have removed 2 experimental toggles because it says since it had no active experimental content. That was the vanilla experimental toggle, and they've also removed the wild experimental toggle. Obviously, the wild experimental toggle had all of the stuff for the wild update in it, which is now in the game, so that was unnecessary. I'm not sure what the vanilla one had in it, but obviously it's gone now, so whatever was in it is probably in the game. The allay, again, the duplication has gone from 2.5 minutes to 5 minutes, and they have fixed a mob. What's it say? Fixed a bug that caused an empty trader llama spawn egg to appear in the creative menu in pre-1.19.10 world, which I'm sure was a really necessary thing to put the time into. The only other one that stuck out to me was the fact that it says it's improved performance of the locate biome command to mitigate stalls on the server while searching for a biome that's far away. Which is good. It means that the locate biome command's not going to take quite as long. But does that mean that they've reduced the distance on finding it? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things. I never know what things mean. When things are worded so vaguely, I'm just like, this could be a lot of things, and I speculate too much, I think.
Yeah. Thanks.
I was literally looking because I remember yesterday on Twitter, I seen that post and I was like, wow, that is a very short list. And then I seen another post last night and I swear there was 2 changelogs I saw to this. And one of them dealt. Now I'm really confused because one of them dealt with Bedrock issues. And it's literally an issue that we were having when we were trying to fix Slackville.
Are you saying that there's another changelog that I haven't seen?
I seen a second one last night on Twitter. It linked to the feedback site and everything. And now when I go here, it's not here. I am so confused.
Maybe that's next week's one. with how good they've been at putting everything out on the wrong day, I guess it's not impossible that we've got one for a different time. Either that or maybe you saw one from a while ago.
No, because it's a 1.19 bug that they fixed. It's like something we didn't know about.
Well, I happen to have a list on Twitter of all of the Mojang developers that I could find. So I'm just looking through all of their tweets at the minute.
Okay, June 22nd, the 1.19.2 Bedrock changelog, not the beta. Okay.
1.19.2?
Yeah, it's on the feedback site. 1.19.2.
What?
Exactly.
1.19.2? What?
It's not even out yet, though.
Well, we don't know. Why would there be a 1.19.2 when we're on 1.19.10? It doesn't. We don't. What?
Don't ask me, but that's the official. That's a release one. I'm confused.
That'll be one that's for servers or something like that. Oh no, that's
it's 1.19.2 Bedrock release yesterday. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. See, I saw this yesterday and I was confused.
Maybe this is an emergency hotfix that's just been pushed out and we're getting that before 1.19.10 then, because it does say release. Jeez. Okay, we got news. Breaking news. So it says, fix several crashes that could occur during gameplay. Well, that's useful, thank you. Fix the bug on certain flat worlds where below Y0 terrain was accidentally being removed on level load. If there was bedrock at Y0, mobs that teleport through Nether Portal with destination above Y128 will no longer have their position adjusted to 128. So that sounds like hotfix to me. Yeah. Like emergency hotfix. But why? Why would we all of a sudden get that in the midst of 1.19.10 being nearly ready? That's so weird.
I don't know. But I saw this, that's why I was confused. I was like, wait a minute, because I saw a fix about Nether Portal bugs. I was like, I saw this last night. And there you see it. Yeah.
I was going to say it's not showing up on the Minecraft version manager from MCR thingy, but then there hasn't been anything on this. There hasn't been any of the previews since 1.19.10.22. So I don't know if that's a bit behind.
So did this drop early? Did the changelog release early? Is it going to be like 1.19.20? Because we're on the 1.19.2 or 1.
There's an easy way to find out. If we go to the Minecraft server download thing, that normally has the current version on it, which is showing as, I can't see it because it's off the bottom of my screen. Geez, this is a good podcast, isn't it? Yeah, 1.19.2. So, yeah, it's already out.
Okay, good talk. Okay, I knew I saw something. Sorry.
Slack's like, Foxy?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a... Oh, geez. So, yeah, that's out. I can see it's on the store as well. All right. Wow. Okay. So we're really keeping you up to date on the news in Minecraft this week. Jeez, we got no news. Oh, by the way, there's a new version of Minecraft that's out. Just letting you know. Jeez, it's not very important, to be fair. It's like I wouldn't bother downloading it.
That's a pretty good bug with mobs going through another portal above 128, but most people would never do that. But
yeah. I don't know. It's one of those ones that's like, wait for the 1.19.10 because with the changelogs as short as they are, it's got to be around the corner, right?
You would think, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the whole Bedrock generation, because like Slack film, we changed it to, we ripped the main structure out and put it on a different world and ported it around and everything like that. And when we brought it back in, because the world read as a flat, like the Bedrock at Y0 wasn't there. And then when we put it there, it wasn't generating the terrain underneath. It was a nightmare. And then literally after we figured a workaround and fixed it, then I saw this changelog last night and I was like, good talk.
Why is it? Normally there's a bit of a sing and dance about it when a hot fix comes out, but I've not heard anything about this one.
There was a Twitter post. That's how I found this.
Yeah.
I think it was on the same post that you were just talking about
really?
Yeah, I think it was inside that post.
Oh, a thread.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeez. Well, you heard it here first, peeps. Potentially, I don't know. You might have done.
Good talk.
That will be why the preview was delayed then.
Probably.
Yeah, because if they're actually releasing a release on the Tuesday, then they're not going to release the... Oh, my goodness me. Right, okay. Right, well, we got to the bottom of it, peeps. If you're having issues that were listed in that changelog, then rejoice, as they've now been fixed. Everyone run to your Windows store and get that downloaded quick. Jeez. Right, okay. That is the end of the news, peeps, which is quite sad because there wasn't a great deal of it. I'm glad we got some emergency news, though. But I have written out a little section for us to have a discussion. Basically, after having now been playing in 1.19 for a couple of weeks, you guys more than me, I want to know more about what you think of it. Not like, oh, is it a good update or a bad update, but how are you finding like the rarity of the deep dark? Is it too rare? Is it too common? And battle lays, is there too many? Isn't there enough? You know, and all that sort of stuff. Because one thing that's jumped out at me is I've seen a couple of the TB peeps posting in our TB Discord that they've got a frog light shop. And I'm thinking, whoa, hang on a minute. I haven't even found a frog yet. How can you have... So I'm thinking, what, do farms exist for these things now? You guys are going to know. I don't know. Let me know.
As far as like how I'm finding it, because I've done a lot of the updates so far. I just want to say rarity of the deep dark. I literally stumbled across one when I was branch mining, and turns out that one deep dark connected to literally 5 deep darks or ancient cities. Sorry. Like there was one city and then I just like traveled out a little bit and then I ran into another one and I was like, oh, this is weird. And by a little bit, I mean like 30 blocks. Like they were 30 blocks from the wall to the other wall. So it was like interesting. I flew around and that one was literally connected to another one. And then that one 100 blocks away was another one. And I was like, well, this is interesting, right? So then I looked on, what is that thing that we can use? Like chunk finder? Is that what
Chunk
it is?
base or something like
yeah,
that,
there we
yeah.
go. Chunk base. So I looked on that, and in that one area where my mushroom island is, there were 5. So I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool that I found them. And then there was nothing. like literally none for like 1,000 blocks. And I was like, okay. And then there were like 3 and then nothing for 1,000 blocks. And I was like, okay. So it's really interesting that they're spaced out so far, but then you have just a cluster of them. And it seemed like, just looking at the overview of the map, that's how it is. Like, that's really common, is you find quite a few bunched together and then nothing for like a long time. And I don't think I like that. As fun as it was to like be able to kind of one and done it, right? Because I had 5. So it's like, okay, that's a lot of loot. That's cool.
Did they all have their own ancient city in?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
They all had their own portal, or well, their non-portal portal. So it was like 5 full cities, and I was like exploring it in a stream. And I was like, that's really cool. It was really fun. But I think, if I'm being honest, it, as a like an overall game thing, I think it would have been nice if they were further apart with like the same amount of cities. Because I think the amount of cities are good. Like, I'm looking at a map, it looks like they're not so rare that they're going to be difficult to find. But I don't necessarily like that there's so many bunched together, like little groups.
Do you think that's a bug? Because I don't understand, why would they have them in groups like the ancient cities? Why? That doesn't make sense. That sounds to me like it's trying to generate a deep dark in an ancient city and managed to do it like 5 times rather than just once.
Yeah, that very well could be it, because it does seem kind of random, right? But structure spawns, at least in Bedrock, are weird anyway. Like, I have seen the most random pillager outposts. I've seen like, so it could just be, Bedrock being Bedrock.
No, it was really weird. Have you encountered that, Slack?
No, I haven't done nothing with the deep darks or nothing yet. Did look for some allays, whatever you want to call them, on one of my other series, and just every outpost that I've went through, there's no woodland mansions close, and I've found none at the outpost at all, none. And I've went probably done within 8,000 blocks in all directions and found absolutely none so far. So really annoyed at that. So I can kind of get the amethyst for them, because I'll be happy with that. But I agreed that probably the echo shards would be the better option. As far as frog lights, I haven't messed with them. Know that there's farms for it, but yeah, I've seen frogs already showing up in normal swamps.
The thing with the allays though is you only need 1, and then you've got an infinite amount. And I think even with a 5-minute cooldown, that's not going to take you long to amass an army of allays.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, definitely not. And I haven't even found one yet.
No. Well, yeah, I know. It's always tricky and that's like doing anything in Minecraft though, isn't it? When you start a world, I know people speedrun it now, but like they'll pick a specific world and they'll do this and they'll do that and they'll do the other to make it easy. Whereas, if you just start up your own world and pick a random seed, you've got that challenge of finding the end portal, haven't you? And gathering enough eyes of Ender to get there. And yeah, you can cheese it pretty quick if you know what you're doing. But I think this is just one of those new things. It's just, it's going to be difficult getting your first one. But once you've got it, then you're good to go. Going back to the Deep Dark for a second, I just want to touch on my experience of it on the hardcore world again on Java Edition. I don't know whether it was me just mining in a similar area, but when I was down in basically a big cave, that's where we stumbled across it. All of that, it was a huge cave network, and every single part of it led to seemingly just more deep dark at a certain level. So I didn't expect them to be quite so big as they are. Perhaps it was just me feeling like it was big, but not really going outside of much of an area. But yeah, it's, I'm glad they are.
They're massive. They are massive.
Yeah.
They take up a lot of space. I was, after the stream, I was looking like in creative and going into spectator mode and just going across the world. Like, there's just huge amounts and it's so cool. I'm.
Yeah. What about frog lights for you, Jessiie? Have you found any yet? Have you made any frog lights?
I haven't made any frog lights because I don't like the nether. I don't know if any of you know this about me, but I hate it. So I have no interest in making a farm, but I know Tizzy has a farm and I was watching his video and it seems like it's pretty straightforward. Like it doesn't seem like it's extremely difficult to make a farm, besides the fact that you have to deal with nether mobs.
Is that based around a magma cube spawner?
I think Tizzy's is. I think Garuva has one that's just in a basalt biome.
Right. And what did they do
like,
to stop the frogs
options.
getting killed?
Well, they don't do anything. Well, I don't know. I don't think that there's anything. You have to break down the magma cubes into the smallest ones. And then
But the magmas don't attack them from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I'm assuming, unless it's like a relatively manual process where you're going in there as well, I was assuming there was something like you got a frog on a hopper with like a slab above its head or something, so it can't move, and then it can still reach out with its tongue. But no, if you're suggesting that there's just an army of frogs kicking about, and you're in there chopping the magmas until they get small, and then the frogs are just eating them.
They're using powdered snow.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the
fancy.
magmas will spawn in the powdered snow, take damage, break apart, suffocate. Yep.
But the frogs are just free roaming, are they?
Yep, frogs are free roaming. And typically, most farms that I've seen, it's just simple minecart collection system underneath.
Oh, okay.
Just rails, just picking up everything.
I'm surprised they've not made the magmas target the frogs. That kind of, yeah. I'm a bit odd. I'm a bit odd. I am a bit odd. I find that a bit odd. I would have thought that would have been a thing because hostile mobs, I suppose they don't normally go after passive mobs, do they? So,
No, but it would have made sense. It would have made the farm a lot more difficult. You'd have to put a lot more thought into it. Right now, you can literally just flop down frogs and put yourself in a safe spot and just, let the magmas take damage somehow. I mean, you could even go so far as to use golems if you wanted to, but the golems will take damage from the magma. But yeah, once they get them down so small.
Do you think there's any merit in doing a nether portal version where you've got the magmas spawning, going through a nether portal, and then just, I don't know, going into water or something? Or do you think it's just as easy to do it in the nether with powdered snow?
It looks pretty easy to do it in the nether. I mean, it looked like something I could follow, and I'm not technical.
Because with it being spawner-based, I don't think you're going to get any better rates, are you? Unless you had our Fortress farm, obviously we had amazing rates through that because they were going through the nether because they were spawning. If you could make a spawn-proof area that just had almost like a slime chunk, like a slime farm, and you were just spawning magma cubes at that, and then having those going through nether portals, then is that going to give you better rates than waiting for a spawner, do you think?
I don't know. I think, I don't know if we got that parity yet where magmas will only spawn on magma. I don't remember if we do or not.
Probably not, but I think they still spawn on 1 block high blocks. So it shouldn't be too difficult to block the other things from spawning.
Well, if the magmas, I think they fixed golem aggro now too. And if they did, then you could almost make the same essence of an overworld slime farm with like the snowman in the middle, have the magma jump forward, but then you would need the magma to take damage.
Yeah, well, I was thinking you could do that on the other side with just like either, have them fall through powdered snow or have them go through water or something. I'm sure water damages them. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it does.
I'm pretty sure it does, yeah. I don't know, there'd be a lot of ways to go about it. I hadn't really thought about it in great detail yet. I haven't even messed with the lights yet because I'm pretty sure they're all going to generate the same light. I wish that we had the ability where like the sea lanterns projected more of a blue light. Like how the lanterns, the blue ones are still yellow.
Colored lighting.
They're all, colored lighting would be really nice.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. Yes, please. Please add that.
Yes.
Well, that's interesting you should say that, Slack, because the last question I've got on here, although we haven't gone over the other two in the middle yet, but it's what ideas would make it better. So before we get to that, so we'll stick in coloured lights in there. But let's go. What's the best thing you've come across so far? What's the thing that you're happiest about with your experience of 1.19?
I don't know if it counts specifically as 119, but my favorite thing so far has been how I don't know how to word this. Like I like the ancient cities. Like the ancient cities are my new favorite thing of the update, simply because of the excitement. Like it's new, it's fun, the atmosphere. It like actually genuinely gets me into the game. Like I have done 2 streams in an ancient city I've done 2 videos, and each time I'm literally like goosebumpy because it it makes me
Fear factor.
Yeah, it's something different and something new, and I haven't felt like this genuinely scared to die in Minecraft since I first started. And I'm talking like way back in the day, your first nighttime when you go out and then all of a sudden you're swarmed. It's that feeling all over again. And I love it. Like I'm here for it.
I used to get that with Ocean Monuments right back at the very beginning, where you get the Elder Guardian going across the screen and you noise, and then you're like panicking because you're running out of air. But now it's so easy, isn't it? So I think the Deep Dark will probably be, we'll all be thinking that again in a few years' time. But right now, yeah, I agree. That's my favorite thing so far. But then I haven't experienced anything else yet. So we'll see. What about you, Slack?
As of right now, the thing that I'm most looking forward to, I mean, I've messed around with the mud and the bricks and stuff like that. The new trees don't interest me because mining the roots is just a complete nightmare. Right now, the one I'm really interested in and haven't done nothing with yet is the frogs and the frog lights.
Yeah.
For building purposes.
Yeah, I don't know whether, I'm sure it's like anything when they add it to the game. There's that mental block for me of like, how am I going to integrate this with things? But then I'll find a way of doing it. But the frog lights have just got such a texture that I just think, is it going to be easy to add that to stuff? But then that's because I build generally quite clean. So like sea lanterns are great for me because they're smooth, whereas the frog lights look a bit rough. So I'm sure there'll be amazing ways of using them. I'll have to wait until other people do it so I can steal their ideas. What's the worst thing so far for you, Slack?
Not finding the allays yet. That's where they're like non-existent.
Is it frustrating, is it?
Yeah, I went flying around for multiple hours. I even went into a creative copy, turned my render distance all the way up, and just went from outpost to outpost that I could see with the locate, and just nothing.
Wow.
Annoying.
So you were finding the mansions, just no allays there? Or
Yeah,
were you just
no,
doing it at the pillager outpost?
No, the only 2 mansions that were on that world that I found so far were like 20,000 blocks out, and I'm just not going to do that on that world. And it's just like, so annoying.
Yeah. And what about you, Jess? What's the worst thing for you so far?
Mangrove trees. They went from being my favorite thing in the update to my absolute nightmare. Because I love the wood, and farming those trees is a headache and a half. I farmed mangrove trees at my base for 3 hours and got 3 stacks of wood.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah,
it's bad.
An hour a stack.
It was. Yeah, I'm not.
Just think of all those people on Java Edition with TNT duping and 100% block dropping.
Yep.
Okay, so that's what we think, and they're the best and the worst things so far. So what ideas, if you've got any, would make it better? So obviously, Slack, you've suggested frogs lights actually giving off a colour. Have you got anything else that you can think of? What about you, Jessiie? I've got one.
I mean, the thing that I could think to make it better for me is having more wood in the trees. But that's a thing I don't think they're gonna do. So it almost feels like a moot point bringing it up. But the fact that so many of the trees spawn with literally 4 pieces of wood in them, 4 pieces of wood and 80 roots and a million leaves, and it's just not. Yeah, that is the one thing I would change. I would like to see them improve on the generation of those trees.
Well, like oak trees have only got 4 pieces of wood, unless it's a really big one. Like when you're doing a tree farm, you're normally getting like 4 pieces of wood. So what's the difference? What's harder? Is it just because the roots are getting in the way?
Yeah,
the roots are just all over the place.
So if they made the roots easy to break?
No. Oh, you mean if they made the roots easy to break? If they were insta break, maybe. Maybe I would put up with the amount of hassle, but it's still amazing.
Okay, fair enough. Slack, come on, I skipped past you then. What other ideas have you got to make things better?
But the roots, if there was a tool to get them, that was my other idea. Like, even if it's an existing tool, nothing affects them right now. It's just horrible.
I could
really think of all kinds of builds with them. I could put them underwater, bottom of lake beds and everything like that, but they're just such a nightmare to mine right now. It's just not worth it.
I mean, roots in real life are difficult to get rid of. They're tough. They're hard to pull out the ground. They stick under the ground. But I don't know. I feel like it should kind of be a little bit like leaves. If you've got a like efficiency 5 hoe or axe or something, you should be able to get rid of them quick. Okay. Well, my idea, I actually posted a tweet on this. I think it was either this morning or yesterday. I can't remember. It got quite a lot of likes and quite a lot of feedback. And that was that I suggested the idea of having unsniffable potions. So obviously we've got Swift Sneak, which allows you to sneak around more quickly, but it doesn't stop the warden from actually detecting you. Now, I think having a potion of unsniffableness wouldn't stop a little bit like when you've got an invisibility potion. Mobs won't notice you until you aggro one, in which case it doesn't matter if you're invisible, it's going to get you. And I kind of think that this should be the same. If there's a warden kicking about, but it hasn't locked onto you yet, if you've got the potion effect of unsniffability, then it won't be able to just sniff you. So you could hide effectively, or you could stand still a little bit like a T-Rex and it doesn't notice you. But if you make a sound or you run or you panic, it's still going to lock onto you. And I think that would be a fair compromise to perhaps make the deep dark a little bit less deadly, but without tipping the balance scales too much. I don't know how we would make the potion or what it would consist of, and most of the feedback I got on the tweet was people telling me to smother myself in mud because that's the natural way to do it. But I wanted to know what you guys think.
I like that idea. I genuinely like that idea. But can we get Minecraft deodorant?
Minecraft deodorant.
And more or less, you can have 2 strengths of the potion too. The only thing I would like tweak on that, I think, now that's just my personal thought, and you may think I'm crazy, is like, okay, so you got, unsniffable 1. So from like 10, 15 blocks away, the warden cannot sense you.
Oh, it's just got a range.
Yep. And so like unsniffable 2, you can get up to like 30 blocks away or something like that.
Okay.
So you have a little bit more freedom to get away, especially with Swift Sneak.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And what about, well, Jessiie, what do you think first before I go on to ways to apply it?
I actually, shockingly, am not a super big fan of the idea. I don't want ways to make it harder for them to see. Like, we already have Swift Sneak, which I think makes it easier to get away. But I'm not really interested in a way to get it so it doesn't see you, because I think it's fun.
Wow.
Sorry.
Rain on my parade.
God,
well,
yeah,
regardless of you, negative ninny. No, what's the word? Negative nanny? What's the? I don't
ninny.
know.
It is ninny, I think.
Whatever. I still. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. I'm yet to play in the same scale as you with it, so I may well change my mind. But I just thought it was an interesting idea, since that we had invisibility potions for hostile mobs. Now, I was thinking of ways that you could apply it. Like, obviously, if it was a potion, you could just take a potion. But what if you had to put the potion in a cauldron and stand in it to cover yourself in it or something like that to get the effect? I thought could be quite interesting. But also, what item would it be to make you unsniffable? Would it be something really strong and pungent? Garlic. Something we got already.
Garlic.
We don't have garlic in Minecraft. Poisonous potatoes.
Add garlic.
I don't. Poisonous potato? Yeah, maybe. Can't think of nothing else right off
We
the top
are
of my head.
forever going to be trying to find a use for poisonous
The
potatoes.
goat horn.
It comes up
Use
every
a
week.
sponge.
Oh, a sponge. So it's like having a
sponge.
bath.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's actually really interesting.
Yeah, because they're quite rare as well. So you're like, do I really want to turn my sponges into unsniffable? Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we've solved the problem. So we put we put a sponge in a cauldron, pour some water on it, jump up and down on it for a couple of minutes, and you get covered in unsniffable too. Jeez. Amazing. I like it. You're enjoying this idea now with sponges, aren't you, Jessiie?
A little
wants
bit,
the
not gonna
rarity
lie.
aspect
I
of
think
it.
it's better, yeah.
Okay, well, that's enough of my silly ideas. So unless either of you got anything else to add to this discussion, we should probably move on to the bug date.
No, I have nothing else.
Okay, the bug date is looking very empty from our point of view, although I just want to pick up on the one that we said last week, which was about the entity despawning issue with the database. I didn't think it was quite as bad as it was. However, Slack, when I did, I took the pruned world. So basically, when we went from 1.18 to 1.19 for Truly Bedrock, Silent Whisper actually used Amulet to prune the world, which doesn't get rid of lost entities or any entities at all, actually, when you prune the world, which is not ideal. So I ran the version of the world that he'd already pruned through my new and updated prune tool, and it found, get this, over 3 million lost entities. So entities that had either died, despawned, potentially items that have gone into hoppers, basically entities that existed that no longer exist. The data for those was still stored, over 3 million of them. And bear in mind that bug has only just been in since 1.18.31. That's a lot of entities to have accrued in the database in what, like how 3 months, 4 months?
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not really affecting us, and it doesn't make the world size that much bigger, to be fair, but it's obviously it's a problem, because if you didn't prune your world for a year, or, you know, let's say we don't prune Truly Bedrock until 1.20 comes out, how many millions of entities are going to be in there? So I think it's a lot worse than it is. I thought it was just 1 or 2 that were slipping through, but I think it's every single one. So, yeah. Good fun. So if you want to fix that, you can use my prune tool to get rid of all of them for you. You're welcome. Anyway, onto the actual bugs. We've got 5 this week. We've got one from Pirate Danny, who says, banners render over transparent blocks. MCPE 130262. I'm a big fan of banners. Coming up with good designs can really finish off a detailed build, in my opinion. However, this bug means that place banners will render over the top of transparent blocks, which means that some of my houses now have curtains on the inside and the outside of the build. And it's not just glass. Banners seem to render over any transparent block. Yep, I've seen that. It happens with water and all sorts of weird stuff, which is kind of annoying. Have either of you experienced this?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
I literally use that to my advantage on houses that I didn't want to do interiors on.
Oh, really?
Let's have some curtains on the front. Yep. Good talk. Done with it. Next house.
Nice. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, because it's effectively the same thing as, you remember, I don't even know if it still works, but the Entity X-ray pack that allowed you to see mobs through walls, it's the same issue. It's just like the way that the game's rendering the banners is doing the same thing as the hack that did that. So I'm sure it's quite easily fixable, I would hope.
Oh,
yeah.
You would think at this point in time.
Yeah. Well, what's Sponding D's problem, Jessie?
Sponding D says, hi, one and all. Not sure if this has been mentioned before because can't see other comments or questions using this form. Just saying. Villagers are sinking into blocks, sometimes a little or into a full block. Also, they like to sleep not in beds again or with their head in a shulker box. Loving the podcast and all the TB crew content.
Huh? I just want to pick up on the first part of that you can't see the other comments on the feedback form. This is why we read them on the podcast, for you to listen to them. If we just broadcast them all publicly before the podcast, then what would be the point in us reading them? You silly devil.
And they think this is just, come here and chat and not listen to us.
You might as well, if you want everyone to see what you're thinking, stick it on the Discord. Jeez, villagers sinking into blocks. I've not seen that, but again, I haven't really played much. What have you guys had that?
No. I've seen villagers not sleeping in the beds right again, but no, nothing else.
I know they fixed them sleeping in boats, because if you had a boat next to the bed, they would sleep in the boat, wouldn't they? That's fixed now, so maybe that fixed has managed to make them. Yeah,
they're just gonna fall into the ground here.
I've definitely seen them fall into the ground. That has happened a bunch to me, especially if you have slabs, like even top slabs, they'll just be down. And you're like, what happened there, buddy? Yeah, so I've seen that one happen.
What, just when they're asleep? Or all the time?
No, in general, just like randomly, especially if you've like logged in and it, yeah, like they'll just randomly be lower. I'm like, what is going, well, hi. Yeah, it's a thing.
Oh, odd. Okay. Well, we got no bug report for that one, so we can't share that one in the changelog. So, Sponding D, if you would like to find that for us and share it, I'll put it in the the show notes for this one. But yeah, Jammy Toaster has a different issue, Slack.
Yeah, they say, hi, Foxy, Slack, and Jesse. I have found a bug where if you play a goat horn and another player is more than 16 blocks away, they won't hear the sound. Here's a bug report. And thanks for the amazing podcast and videos. Seems pretty normal, though. Most things you can't hear more than 16, 17 blocks away.
But you're supposed to with the goat horn. Like, that's the thing. It is, you're supposed to be able to hear it.
I mean, I should be able to see a campfire from more than 20 blocks away, too. I'm just saying, but I can't.
Are you, though? Like, is that a game thing you're supposed to?
Yeah,
I mean,
I can see a beacon beam. I should be able to see a beacon beam from thousands of blocks away. Just saying.
Oh, yeah. I know the
Campfires
beacon beam one.
Were added into the game as a way to signal. That's why they did the hay bale thing, so you could effectively make smoke signals. That was a way of like a fun way of signaling players from a distance. Beacons are supposed to be able to be seen from a distance, and yeah, the goat horn was specifically said that it was to communicate from a distance. So none of these things work on Bedrock Edition, which is great.
Yay.
Thank you very much. Jeez. Oh.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Right. Okay. 09 Patman again, not to be mistaken for 09 Patman. I'm sure they're two different people. Says, I'm a bug magnet if I report so many bugs right. So I was playing CubeCraft, FFA, and whenever I got half a heart or lower, everyone was blinking in and out of existence. I was still in survival mode, but couldn't take damage. Nobody seemed to see me. I don't know what... Oh, CubeCraft is a like a third-party server host, right?
I'm guessing.
It'll be probably one of the featured servers on the Bedrock list. They don't run on the same version of Minecraft we work on. They run on something that I've forgotten the name of now. Mine something or other, which is it's like a third-party made version of the game that doesn't have anything like world generation. It doesn't support survival stuff. It just is a really basic way for players to play with each other with similar things, and it supports plugins and all that sort of stuff. So I would imagine that's a bug with that rather than actual Bedrock Edition itself.
Yeah, those things. Oh god, you remember when servers started first becoming a thing and like everybody was using those and we didn't have BDS yet out? And no, we'll stay on the realm at that time, and we did.
Yeah. I remember when I was first looking into it, and I found all of the document. There was barely any documentation at the time, and I was trying to find a way to run one of these types of servers, and it was all written in. I think it was written in like PHP, which is it's a programming language for websites mainly, which I'm generally quite fluent in, but it was at the time written in a version of it that you couldn't even get for Windows without compiling it yourself. And then when you got it, you had to like compile. Oh, it was a nightmare. I never managed to get it going. I managed to... one server I managed to open up, and I tried to put a Minecraft world into it thinking I could play on it, and just everything turned to stone. There was nothing. You couldn't do anything. It was a nightmare. So hats off to whoever has managed to turn that into amazing minigame servers. But if there's a few bugs in there, I'm not surprised. It's come a long way since then, and a lot of server hosting companies actually support Pocket Mine. That's the name of it.
Yep.
They will support it. Like on Nodecraft, there's an option to use a Pocket Mine server, but I don't know. I've never had any experience with it other than that. I've not looked into it again since. So. Yeah, not something I'm particularly interested in dealing with. Jessiie, any thoughts?
I've never played really any of like the little public servers. I think I've done like one, so I don't know anything about them or how they run. So I'm gonna defer to you guys here and be like, yeah, that's probably not a Minecraft like Bedrock in general thing.
No, I remember when those featured servers first came to Bedrock Edition, and Stampy Longnose actually did a video on how awful they were, and it wasn't necessarily awful in terms of gameplay, because in terms of like quality, if you like, because quite clearly a lot of time and effort had gone into building the worlds and building the things, but it was all focused on money. And I remember he went into this like server lobby, and to get anywhere to actually join a mini game, you had to walk for miles and miles and miles, and all the way there's opportunities to spend money, like real life money, and it was awful. It was. I mean, you think the marketplace is bad for how it goes, but this was like a million times worse. I'm sure they've got better since then, but yeah, I remember watching that video and thinking, yeah, I'm never going to go on one of those. Right, the last piece of Bugdate. I was going to say feedback. Then we're on the Bugdate. I don't know if you guys can tell I'm a bit off. Since Jessie's audio issues, I've come over with a massive headache, so I'm very sorry, but I'm struggling a little bit here. I'm doing my best though. So yeah.
Poor Foxy. Aiden Shin says, "Hi Foxy, Slack, and Jessie. Aiden here. This is a bug I've had. When I was tree sprinting, I suddenly went through the leaves. Do you guys know what happened?"
I don't know what tree sprinting is.
Tree sprinting is when you travel on top of trees. So,
okay.
Yeah, when you're traveling not on the ground but in the air. I've had that happen, and I've just assumed that it was like just a render bug, like thing, like you just were faster than it registered the leaves, so you fell through. But I have no idea. I'm not technical. That's just what I always assumed it was.
That's weird. Yeah. Really weird. I don't know what would cause that other than like server lag or something. But if you were on a single player world, I don't know. Genuinely don't know. Very odd. Again, no bug report on that one. So unfortunately, we can't share that one. But if anyone else has had any of those bugs and they would like to talk more about it, maybe you know a little bit more. If you have a bit more information, then please do email us at theminecraftupdate.com, or, fill in that feedback form because it's there and we like it. Mm-hmm. Moving on from the bug date, we are going into the wish list, and we all have wish list items this week. I don't have to get cross at anybody for forgetting, which is amazing. And we're going to start with Jessie because she's at the top of the list. Jeez, I got one little headache and I can't say any words. You guys take over. Jeez.
I picked ambient sounds, but I suddenly am getting this recollection that have we done this one before? Did somebody else pick this one?
No, we've had similar ones. I picked one where you had muffled sound through walls and like immersion and things.
And you've done like ambient animals in the distance that disappeared, like birds and stuff.
Snow moles. Let's not forget snow moles.
Snow moles, yeah. Snow moles.
Okay, so the one I picked was ambient sounds. And the little in brackets thing is more ambient sounds. It says, "Hi, in the 1.13 update, Mojang added a lot of ambient sounds underwater, which makes living exploring underwater much more rich and pleasant. I think they should go further with this idea and add more ambient sounds outside of water too. Here are a few examples. Wind sound when high in the air, wind making noise through the leaves and the trees in the forest, constant cave sounds underground, more sounds coming from far away, maybe sounds of animals and even birds." And this has 2,872 upvotes. I picked this one specifically because with the wild update and with the ancient cities, there are so many sound effects that absolutely make the ancient cities what they are. And having experienced that, and like having the creepy music in the background and having like just these background sounds has made the game so much more enjoyable for me, that I would love if we had that more in the game. Not consistently, I think that would get annoying, but just like a nice amount of ambient sound, I think would just, chef's kiss. It would be beautiful.
Interestingly, this post was made in 2018, and it mentions constant cave sounds underground. And that reminded me when they did add a whole bunch of ambient cave sounds. I believe it was while we were playing Truly Bedrock Season 2. But they just played constantly on a loop, no matter where you were. And it was incredibly annoying. So your wish came true there, whoever it was that made that post. But I'm glad they took that away again and made it less regular. But yeah, I got to admit, when they do it right, it does sound amazing. But I don't think it's something you want to go on all the time.
Oh, yeah.
No, not all the time. No, that drove me crazy in season 2. Oh, wait, I'm on top of a mountain and there's nothing above me but open sky. Yeah, I heard a cave sound.
That static one was the worst. You remember?
Oh, the radioactive one too?
Static.
The Geiger counter.
Yeah. Oh, man, it was constant. Oh, it was so annoying.
That one was beyond annoying.
But yeah, I like that, Jesse. Stick that in the good ideas pile. What do you think, Slack? You happy with ambient sounds?
Yeah, as long as I got a slider to turn them off.
Yeah, more ambient sounds, less ambient mobs for Slack, and then you got a winner. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And with sliders. Just saying, with sliders.
With sliders. Slack's one. You've got Java parity one. Oof.
Look, world border. Come on. You know you would like to have a slider. Even just a slider to say, okay, this season of Truly Bedrock, the world border is 5,000 blocks. And guess what? You can't get past it. It's not a trust system. It's there's a wall there.
Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That way we could literally be like, okay, so we want the world border to be like to the north 2,000, west, this. And we could allocate an area that has a border and be like, we're saving this for in case there's an update this season. You can't go this way.
Well, that's not how the world border works. It's a square around a center. But on one hand, I agree with you. A world border would be great. But the way the game's developed over the last few updates, particularly this one, where you are going hunting for LAs miles away and you are looking for deep darks and you are looking for mountains and all the mangrove swamps and everything else that's rare, putting a physical border on there rather than going, we're just going to trim the world in a couple of months.
Okay. Two of the biggest features that drove me to Bedrock, and I think most people, were realms and infinite worlds. Yeah, right. Because you know where I'm going to go with this. Both of them were big letdowns at first. Infinite worlds would break your world, and realms just were problem after problem to begin with. So maybe it's a feature we should have had earlier on, but it's still a feature I would like.
I'd really like a world border. I actually came up with an idea. I think me and a couple of the guys in my Discord came up with an idea for one of the servers that we were going to do and never actually got around to do it. And the idea was that we would create a world border using funky, useless Bedrock Edition versions of world borders. That you had to basically do something in game to advance to the next world border. So it's almost like getting achievements, but obviously with triggers that you could actually trigger with add-ons or that you could actually read with add-ons. And when you crafted a certain item or you built a certain thing, then the world border would expand. So you'd start off with a really small area, like maybe 2 or 3 chunks, and that's it. And you got to craft a crafting table, and it goes out another chunk, and then you got to get a diamond, and it goes out another chunk, and stuff like that. So I'd love it for that sort of thing, for mini games, for add-ons and things like that. And I'm really genuinely not too fussed about it for survival, but I do think it's something that should exist. And I do want to just say that the border blocks do exist, and the world border stuff does exist in Bedrock, but it's in the education edition of the game, and for some reason they just don't let us have it. So I don't get it.
I like the idea of having a world border because I don't like when world sizes get too big. It irritates me. I'm not a fan, and I just don't think that we trim often enough to not justify having one. So yeah, I am all on board. Give me world borders, make it really small, just irritate people. I'm here for it.
But wouldn't you be annoyed when you wanted to go out and find an LA or a woodland mansion or something, and you're like, well, I can't even access certain areas? No.
She's like, no,
tough. No, would not bother me at all. What? No. I mean, there won't be
no ancient
endless
city
entities
inside your world border. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, see, that just seems to come down to poor planning. Who Who's going to create a world and not make sure that there are ancient cities and whatever inside the border that they want?
Yeah, but you
That's
never
why
get
we
everything
spend-
that you want, do you? Like
we
this season, we haven't got a witch
so
up.
much time. I know that's really irritating. I don't know
that was
how
because
we
structure
didn't think
spawns were
about that.
broke.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I feel like specifically in terms of like servers and SMPs and stuff like that, we put so much time into planning it. Like, I don't know how many of the folks out there know anything about that. But before we start a new season, we look at seed after seed after seed, trying to make sure that we have something for everybody. And if we did that, there's no way that we wouldn't have guardian temples. We wouldn't have ancient cities. We wouldn't have outposts. There's no way. We would not slip through the cracks.
Maybe that's the problem this season. We didn't do that. We let Foxy
We didn't.
pick-
I
picked
didn't
the
pick it.
first-
I didn't pick it.
No, we didn't.
We focused on that mountain range.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
wanted the perfect mountain range, and
Foxy's like, it
literally
wasn't me.
did
It
not
wasn't
think
me.
about anything else. Yeah.
I just want to say, in terms of, we don't prune very much now for a few reasons. One of them is that we're not running on my server anymore from home, which means actually downloading the world and re-uploading it takes ages. Number two, my prune tool was broken, so when we did, it broke everything and deleted all the entities. And number three, Bedrock just runs so much better now than it did when we needed to prune all the time. So we're not just constantly having lag. But I will say that now that my prune tool is fixed, and there are peeps on the Truly Bedrock server that have good internet connections, unlike me, there's no reason we couldn't prune once a week if we wanted to, or once a month. It's easy to do. But yeah, I agree. We should have a world border. I don't want it in survival, but I do want the option to be able to use it
You
when
want
I
the
want
option.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
put that in the good ideas box right at the top, so we find it next time we're rifling through there. I'll pass it on to my peeps at Mojang. Make sure it's in for the next update. You're welcome.
Good deal. Get them on it.
My wish list item is a set biome command that allows you to change the area to a specific biome. It's got 2,700 votes. And yet again, just like all the ones we seem to be listing, they were all written in 2018. I'm pretty sure at the same time, at the same day, if we look at them. But yeah, I think that would be great, especially for map makers and for builders and things like that, to be able to go, I want this area to not be snowy. I want it to be snowy. I want it to be cold, or I want it to be warm. That would be great. I'd like that, please.
Sounds like a plan.
I can't see a negative to it, right?
No, I can't.
No, I can't see a negative to it. So, Plusborough, let's have it.
Yeah, please do has that. Thanks. So this week, all of us agreed on all of them. Has that happened before?
I don't know, but I'm just reading the comments on this one, and there's one like 3 down that the comment itself's got 94 upvotes, and it's like, not useful. Fill biome would be way better, and then puts an example of a fill biome command. Like, really, it's exactly the same thing. Jeez,
Yeah,
people say
registered user. How dare you?
It's not my idea, so it's not perfect.
Oh man, when you nitpick to that level, you just need to go outside, don't you? You just need to go for a long walk and consider your life
Go
choices.
touch grass. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Actually, FoxyNoTail.
There you go. There you go. Right there. Yeah.
Speaking of
God.
actually, that is the end of our wish list. Oh, jeez. Wow.
Woo.
Shoot me now. Our witch list. No.
Wish. That is the end of our wish list portion of the podcast.
Thank you. Moving on to the Q&A, and I've got all the long ones. This is gonna be fun. Oh, jeez.
This is great. I love it.
Blind Eclipse. Have you been drinking? Says, hello, Foxy, Slack, and Jessiie. Regarding your thoughts on the end update being, this was left for us last week and I didn't include it, so I'm including it this week because they put a sad face in the Discord. Sorry, Blind Eclipse. Regarding your thoughts on the end update being 1.20 in the latest episode, I love that idea of the Ancient City portal being another way to get to the end. I agree with what Foxy said, that Mojang might be unwilling to part with the traditional Minecraft game loop, that being go to the nether, get blaze powder, make eyes of ender, find a portal frame, light the portal, kill the dragon, roll credits. What do you think would what would you think of a revamped end city that is directly tied to our ancient cities? After killing the dragon, you find the city and obtain an item. This item allows you to light the ancient city portal, which then connects the end city and that ancient city. That way, you still play the game normally, but you have more to do with the ancient city and end city.
Cross-dimensional portal.
I mean, I know it's a bit of a pain going out to the end cities in the end because of the islands and stuff, but that's the only challenge left in the end, really. So I kind of like the idea that you could have a portal to a specific place in the end from the overworld. I think that would be great for actually making the end more like suitable for having bases. Like, obviously we can do that with the Nether. We can go to a specific point in the Nether. We know that's going to be our base. We're not having to go through the central point and find a way to it. So yeah, I like that idea, but I'm not sure how the linking would work. Would it be positional like it is with the Nether, or is it just like, oh, this one's linked to that one, kind of like you do with the compass on a lodestone?
I like the general idea behind it, but I would expand on that. I don't think that having one lead to an end city would be good. I feel like if it was going to link, it would have to be to something like something in a revamped end, if that makes sense. Like maybe each portal like links to, or each non-portal portal links to, you know, some kind of new end structure or something like that. Like, so I don't think it should be an end city, but having it linked to something specific in the end that you can like go to and from, like a functional portal would be, I like that idea, if that makes sense.
The only problem there is you're not able to, like with an obsidian portal, you can put them in the overworld wherever you want. You can put them in the end, in the Nether wherever you want. Whereas this, you're still going to be stuck to wherever the portal frame in the
ancient city is.
Yeah, exactly. So not really helping massively. You were struggling with that for a second there, Slack.
No. I was just sitting here thinking I can't think of a way to incorporate it with, unless we can move the portal and make the portal custom. Yeah, I can't think of no way to.
No, I'm unfortunately there behind Eclipse, and that one's not going in the good ideas pile. As much as I think it is a reasonable idea, it still needs more work. So C- on there. Come back to me next week with the revised edition, and hopefully we can get you in the good ideas basket.
Yeah, please try again.
Eye of the Night says, so I heard that Jessiie was super sneaky by herself with the warden. So I think that just confirms her sneakiness. So I think now we all know where she's getting all of her blocks from. I love all the little silly jokes you folks poke at each other with. They make me smile. And I just want to say, I mean, I'm going to pat myself. I'm going to pat myself on the back here, right?
I haven't stolen any blocks for a week.
I cheesed a warden. I cheesed it all by myself, and I was so proud of myself, guys. I was like,
how did you do it?
Completely on accident. I was streaming, and as I had said, I dug straight into an ancient city, right? I was strip mining, so dug into an ancient city. I flew around, and when I came back to my tunnel, I had triggered a warden, and I was like, "Oh!" So I sat there with a bow in my tunnel, like we do, you know, with a wither, and I just spammed it far enough back that it couldn't reach me with the sonic-y boom, and I just bowed it to heck. It took about 50 arrows, but I did it with a power 5 bow. Those things are not easy, but I did it, and I was super, super proud. I was really excited.
Yeah, she super cheated. I watched. Mm-hmm.
I did. I mean, I just admitted I did. I cheesed the heck out of that thing.
How are you so proud of yourself?
Because it killed me like 8 times before that. So this was vengeance.
Revenge. Right, okay.
Yes.
And they say revenge is not the answer, but clearly it is. Jessie's proof there. Right.
Payback time, Dread.
What's 09 Patman got to say?
Oh, dear God. Patman. If you could add a biome to the overworld dimension, could be completely fantasy, what would it be?
A misty forest.
Ooh.
With dark riders and Voldemort.
And Voldemort. I was gonna say something similar. I want like a fantasy forest. Like I want like really crazy shaped trees and like weird mushrooms. Like I want like a weird dark forest.
Didn't she just get crazy shaped trees and she doesn't like them?
Yeah, and we've already got mushroom forests. So
No,
real good use of your imagination
No.
there, Jessiie.
No, we have really ugly two types of mushrooms. I want fantasy mushrooms. I want like cool, weird shaped things.
I want toadstools that we can sit on, and I want glowing mushrooms in caves. All right, is that too much to ask?
Ooh, glowing mushrooms. That would be cool.
Yeah.
That goes back to the glowing things again. Huh. That
Slack.
glow more than one color. Yes.
Apparently, mushrooms in Minecraft do glow. They do emit light for some reason, but it's not really the desired effect, is it? Jeez, what biome would you like added to the overworld if it could be anything?
I don't like, you know how you get like the mega taigas and stuff like that, where you got the 2x2 spruce trees and everything. But we have Toretto, stop. But you also have like the dark oak forest that's really gritty. It's you're down to the ground, but there's a complete canopy. Can I have that, but on the top of spruce trees?
Oh wow! So you like really dense spruce forest?
Yes, but more room underneath of it. So granted, some of the trees could go down lower, but you could have big canopies sweeping across, so you're just under this giant canopy of forest. Not just, I'm in a spruce forest, I can look up and see 90% sky, 2% leaves, I want to look up and see 90% leaves and 1% sky.
So we've all asked for forests.
Yes.
So perhaps 1.20 should be the forest update.
I'm on board. Yep.
Sounds like, I'm sold. Yeah, I'm sold. Yep. Forest.
Good.
Forest, mushrooms. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Put it in the
They'll
good
give it to
ideas
us in
bin.
the end is what'll happen. Yep.
Yeah.
We'll
End forests. Right. Victim Born says, first, let me thank you for informing me of the ant venom video. I've seen it on my YouTube homepage feed and nearly clicked it, but now I know better. You saved me from the horrible feeling that I've helped this type of hype by increasing its algorithms. Now, the question, how many views do you think your critique is responsible for? -1 for my no watch. 2, what can you do to minimize the aid you've given to a video after falling for the clickbait scam? I always feel trapped after realizing I'm watching a bogus video. I've heard hitting thumbs down actually helps the video versus doing nothing. Subscribe and smash that bell for part 2. Okay, how many negative views have we given the ant venom video, and how do you take away having given it some of the algorithm love? I don't think you can. I wouldn't worry about it. And each one of us is just one person, so I don't think it would make a great deal of difference unless you could get a whole army of people to do it. But I don't imagine we've impacted it negatively at all. I imagine probably some people have even bothered to watch it since we talked about it to see what we were talking about. So I don't think, as much as we gave it a little bit of negative press, I don't think that's probably gone against it.
No, and the fact that you talk about something anyway is not going to be a negative on it. Now you're going to have people who are curious and going to go click it just for that reason, because you talked about it and they don't know what it's about. And even without us talking about it, the dude's already got a successful video that's already got clicks on it. You're not going to stop it. He's been playing the game now for a while. He knows how to play the YouTube game.
Yeah, and just to make, sorry, Jessiie, just to make things clear, I don't dislike Ant Venom as a content creator, and it certainly wasn't my intent to put him down or his channel down. I think some of the videos he's made are absolutely fantastic and really interesting. I just think that particular one hit all the wrong notes. So, yeah. Don't try and ruin him.
Yeah, I don't think that's possible, but I will hit on point number 2, right? I do think if you are somebody who is against clickbaity stuff, and if you've fallen for it, the best thing you can do is click away. I mean, it's terrible for our analytics when somebody clicks on and then clicks off. Mm-hmm. Like if it shows that you were there and you lost somebody's interest right away, that's bad. So I think the only thing I can say from a viewer standpoint, from a creator standpoint, is if you're watching something and you don't like it, don't keep watching it. Like don't finish a video through if it is something that you are that against. So anytime I accidentally fall for clickbait or whatever, the second I realize it, I click off. And I think a lot of people do that.
I think YouTube even has I know Google like the Google app, when it suggests posts for you to read, has it now, and I'm sure some YouTube videos have it now, the ability to report the video as sensationalist content, which basically means it's clickbait. So I'm not saying to do that on Ant Venom's video, because I think as much as it did hit the wrong notes and it was, in my opinion, total nonsense, I don't think it was necessarily that bad that you would need to report the video. So just exactly what Jesse said, just walk away.
Because that'll show up in your analytics. And I was just thinking, what if there was something? I didn't know that was a thing. What if you could review people's thumbnails and be like, yes, this is on topic, this doesn't matter, like a clickbait scale,
Yeah.
And what if each content creator got judged on their clickbait scale by YouTube as well? You know what I mean?
Well, we did have that, didn't we? It was called the dislike button, and they took it away. So clearly YouTube don't want to go down that route. And I think this reporting system that they've added in now instead is their way of sort of quietly assessing whether videos are that bad that they need, that they're causing people to get really upset.
I agree. I do, just on a personal note, right? I really like the idea of being able to, I don't want to say like report thumbnails, but like rate them, right? Because I know we have all seen some thumbnails that do not belong on YouTube or do not belong on YouTube Kids. Yeah. So like, I love that idea. Yeah. If you gave me a button that was like, hey, this is not a good thumbnail, I'm gonna, go away. Do not want to see it. Just have the official like black screen. It's just like, nope.
You don't even need a rating button. You just need one button there next to it that says lies with lots of exclamation marks.
Yeah, not even, hey, this is a good thumbnail. No, this is just, no. The only time I care to say anything is when it's a lie.
Yeah, lies.
Yeah. This is how you can make 5 figures a week for 2 hours a day. Lies.
Lies. Go away.
Don't even need to watch it. Lies.
Okay. Oh my God. Benji says, hey, Foxy, Slack, and Jess, or as Foxy says, peeps. I just wanted to say that your pod will officially be listened to at Disneyland. I will be there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So here's my question. What's your favorite part or ride about or in Disneyland? This does not apply to Foxy because he lives in a perfect weather temp conditions with a beautifully perfect country.
This is very true. Yeah. We don't have a Disneyland because we're perfect here.
I was going to say, but you've been to Disneyland.
I had to go to the French version, and it's not as good as the American one.
Gotcha. So you've never been to this one?
Yeah, I've been to the Florida one when I was little twice, but I haven't been since I was like 8.
Wow.
So it's a bit expensive to go to Disneyland. You're talking like £6,000 or £7,000 just to take you there for a week. So you got to have a lot of money, or you got to save up for a while.
Yeah, as the resident Californian who has Disneyland passes, I will say my favorite ride at Disneyland will always be Space Mountain. I'm a sucker, so love it.
They've got that at France, but it was shut when we went. I was really annoyed.
What?
I tell you what, they did have though that was amazing. They had the Crush ride from Finding Nemo. I've never been on a ride like it. It was an indoor dark roller coaster, but it spun round. It was amazing. It was great fun. We all came out of there smiling. But even better than that, they had a Ratatouille one, which was just, it blew my mind because it was basically you go in a rat and you go in with obviously with your kids, and they're all robots. They whiz around like almost completely randomly, but they're obviously following a line. And each time you go on a ride, you end up in a different bit, and it's all in 3D. You end up in front of these giant screens, and it feels like you're in the movie. Then the rat scurries off, and you go under some bookcases, and you come out somewhere else, and you're in front of another screen. And every time you go on it, you go on this different loop, and none of them bang into each other. They're not on rails. It's amazing. I was blown away.
Sounds amazing.
By that ride.
We don't have that here.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. Wow.
So sorry for cutting you off there. I just remembered.
No, that's amazing. Yeah. I will say my favorite part of Disneyland, so like completely separate from the ride, is I am a big fan of, they have these seasonal macarons that are they're Mickey Mouse heads, and they have like fresh, like raspberries. The filling is amazing. Favorite thing. I will go there just like on a random day of the week, and me and the kids will get one. They're amazing.
Wow. I just nipped to Disneyland. Wow. Living the dream.
I mean, I
don't care about your roof or the hole in your floor anymore. Oh, how hot it is. You can just nip to Disneyland for a macaroon.
Live right there. Yeah, I can.
Wow.
I mean, it's like $5 and it's huge.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Not fair. I got to travel to a different country. They don't even speak English. Have you ever heard Darth Vader in French? I didn't understand a word he was saying. But he looked dead angry.
That's amazing. It's amazing.
Oh, dear. It's really weird because most of the obviously it's in France, so it's going to be fresh, but it's the only one we got in Europe as far as I'm aware. And the all of the attractions is in English. So all of the stuff you watch, all of the videos, the thing in the Ratatouille was in English. We went to see a Wild West show that was in English. Everything's in English. But when they do it was a big Star Wars hype at the time, so there was loads of stormtroopers kicking about, Darth Vader was kicking about. When you go and have your picture taken with Darth Vader, he speaks English. But whenever they're doing all of the stage shows on the outside or they're walking about, it's all in French. And you've got no clue what they're talking about. But it was still an amazing spectacle. So you sit there with a smile on your face and watching it anyway. I should have said stand there because, oh man. What about you, Slack? What's your favourite ride at Disneyland?
Never been.
I knew you were going to say that.
How?
Okay.
No, never been. But I have Kentucky Kingdom passes. But yeah, it's
would you like to go
Six
to
Flags.
Disneyland?
No, too many people.
Okay, fair enough. I was going to say potentially something for you and Jen to save up to and take a lap.
Probably is something on our list that we're going to do. Probably. I mean, it's like world travel and stuff like that. I want to,
Yeah.
But like if it's just me, am I going to go to Disneyland by myself? No, I have no desire to. But I go to Kentucky Kingdom. I guess there's a difference in how many people are going to be there.
Yeah.
And as far as rides or anything like that, I am a junkie for roller coasters.
Yeah, buddy.
I am terrified of heights. And I'm the one that's standing in line for the roller coaster going, nope, I'm going to go wait. Nope, I'm going to go wait. Nope. What am I doing? Why am I getting on here? Why are you putting this across my chest? Why are you strapping me in? And then I am the one that when it reaches the top is screaming bloody murder. Let's go. Yep. That's me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's amazing.
I can relate to that completely. Yeah, totally.
We're here. Let's go.
Jeez, when we went to the American Disneyland when I was little, I remember we did the lot. We did the Busch Gardens and the Epcot Center and SeaWorld and all that sort of stuff. And we did, I think it was at actual Disneyland. We were waiting in the queue for the Back to the Future ride for literally hours. We queued up for that ride. But I've got to say, still today, that's probably one of the best experiences I've ever had. So, yeah, there's a lot of bad stuff to say about Disney and Disneyland, but they don't get the rides right.
No, I love roller coasters, but also y'all ever went to not indoor roller coasters, because I know you talked about those, but the one where they got the TV on the screen and you sit down in the chair that completely moves and rocks back and forth. So virtual, they'll drive off of a cliff and all of a sudden your chair flips forward. Oh, I love those.
Yeah, I absolutely love those. They were all the rage, like in the 80s and 90s, weren't they? Yeah. You saw them everywhere, and you don't never see them now.
I always remember the one I went to at Kentucky Kingdom dealt with Jurassic Park, so it was like you were running away from dinosaurs. It was awesome.
Oh, nice. Right, Slack. Moving on to Victim Born with a real long question.
What real world tree or plant would you add if you could into the game?
I would
into Minecraft.
Imagine so. Not Disneyland.
Weeping willows.
Cherry blossom.
You guys suck. You took both of them.
Spiky bushes.
You know what? Fine. I'm gonna say a hydrangea, just to be interesting.
Well, look at you with your names of actual plants that. Just saying, getting my encyclopedia of plants. What's a hydrangea?
It's a hydrangea.
I've got some in the garden, but I couldn't tell you which ones it was. So people were like, that's a nice hydrangea. Oh, is it? Jeez. Right,
As for
Ethrit.
tree, yeah. Oh, go ahead. Come on.
Sorry. Ethrit says, hello again. I'll be honest, I began sweating a little when listening to last week's podcast, hoping my semi-rant made it too late to be included. I definitely shed a much more negative light than I intended. My question is this. Out of any utility features present in Java or not, what would you like to see in Bedrock Edition? Personally, I really want chunk borders, which I doubt could go wrong, besides probably kicking you out of your Microsoft account. Jeez. Yeah, all that stuff, please. I would like all that stuff in the game. Like, chunk borders is essential as far as I'm concerned, which is why I made my markers pack. Yeah. What about you guys?
Yeah, I would agree. Chunk borders. I mean, I would be fine with chunk borders, F3 screens. I'd be fine with all that. Just understand that there's never going to be 100% parity. But we can get close. I believe we can get a lot closer than we are now.
Yeah.
But the people that think it's going to be the same game, you're delusional. Go ahead, Jessiie. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I was going to say, I think the only thing from the F3 screen that I'm like absolutely 1000% just that I don't see why it's not in ours is chunk borders. It's so important. Like, I love the fact that you made your markers pack, Foxy. It's helped so much, but I want a button. Give me a button.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
I want to push one button, see the chunk border, move on, push the button again. It's gone. I don't want to have to, carry a armor stand and a banner with me just so that I can mark something out. It's annoying. It takes up 2 slots in my ender chest, and I'm like, whatever, but that's fine, right? Just give me this. Give me the button. Just give me the button. I'll put up with not having anything else. That is the one thing I'm just like, why? Why don't
I totally agree with you. Another one I think would be really useful, particularly because, well, it's what they called. It's gone out of my head now. When you can see the square around an entity.
Hitboxes.
Yeah, hitboxes. Jeez, I had that in my head, and then I waited for you to sort of semi-finish before I put it in. Hitboxes, only because certain things in Minecraft, like boats, when you've got 2 villagers in them.
Yeah.
Hitboxes on Minecraft are rectangular, but only vertically. So they're always a square horizontally. They can have a height, but they don't have 3 dimensions. They have a depth, a width, and a height. So they have to be square. And they have to be, but they can be any height. So that means anything that's not a square shape, like a boat, can't have a correct hitbox. Which means when you're trying to break a hitbox or break a boat by clicking on the side of it and you're accidentally stabbing your villagers to death, it's really annoying. So I would either like them to fix hitboxes so they actually match the thing, that the entity that they're around, or, allow us to see them. Maybe like you can with blocks. You get to see the block hitbox when you look at a block. Why can't you see an entity hitbox? Only if it's like a thin black line or something. You know?
Oh, yeah, totally makes sense. And I was just thinking too, it's doable because we already got unmappable buttons like RTX button that's L key. You don't argue that, we can't do it because of phone, really. We got a button we can't unmap on our keyboard that kicks on RTX. Yeah, can't remap it. Yeah, but you're not worried about the phone in that situation, Sorry, computer users, hit L. You're going to turn on your RTX pack. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I never understood why there's like unmappable keys, and it just seems that sort of thing just seemed so lackluster, I guess.
Well, and the fact that it's not even a combo key, it's literally just the L key.
Yeah,
I thought it was
the colon key.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
I was going to say
side,
that was a colon. I was very confused for a second. I was like, mine's not L.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. My bad. I'm thinking the wrong key then. You can't even remap it. And it's not even like a Alt L. Like, what is it? Alt G or Shift G to see the hitboxes or something like that on Java.
Yeah.
It's F3G, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, before we moan too much, let's move on again.
So Victim Born says, what feature from 7DTD
7
would
days
you
to die.
would you most like to see implemented in Minecraft? For me, it's the inventory control buttons.
Yes.
I dearly miss them when switching from 7 Days to Die to Minecraft. Yes. I don't know what that is.
No, me neither. This is all on you, Slack. I don't think I've ever seen.
Actually, you have seen this before when we played the Skyblock series. There was the button at the top of your chest you could hit, and it would auto sort your chest.
Yeah, sorry, I meant I hadn't seen enough 7 Days to Die to have any opinions on what to bring to Minecraft.
I was giving you a Minecraft reference to it.
But from
from Skyblock.
Sortable inventory, yes, please. Yes.
So you could like either make a predefined, when I push this, this goes here. You could sort it alphabetically. You could sort it by like weight value. You could sort it by build type for Minecraft. There's different ways that you could potentially do it. But yeah, sortable by in the chest. Like you can literally like walk up to a chest and push one button and it moves your whole inventory over into that chest.
Oh yes.
Just, or you can be like, I want to keep these spots in my inventory locked. Okay, these never move. So where my ender chest is, my crafting table, and all this is, that never moves. But if I hit this other button here, it moves everything from my chest or my inventory to that chest.
Yes,
So,
please.
yeah.
Yes. Yes, I'll have 3.
Well, there's 3 buttons. You can move like if you got like 3 pieces of stone, you can move all stackable items from your inventory into the box. So like if the box you're going to has stone and andesite and granite, if you push that and you got that in your inventory, it will only move those things over. So it's like quick sorting options. So you just open the chest, hit a button.
Yes.
Open the chest, hit a button. Open the chest, hit a button. Open the chest, hit a button. Boom, gone, done.
I don't know when. Not possible, sadly. Oh, Jessie, doesn't that sound amazing?
It makes my heart sad. it makes everything so sad because yes, absolutely, 1000%. You take my money. I will throw money at it.
Yeah,
like, please.
I'd pay for Minecraft again just to have that in.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my
If someone said to me
in...
genuinely, hey, if you give me 50 pounds and we'll add this to Minecraft, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Last night I started a new mod on 7 Days to Die. Let me tell you this feature. You're going to love this one. Okay. You can make chests broadcastable. Okay. So imagine you go to your crafting bench and you're like, oh, I need to go get stone. I need to go get this. I need to go get that. You can go to your chest and say you can make 10 chests broadcastable. So anything in those chests you can access from not being in that chest, as long as you're at a crafting table. So you go to the crafting table and you got 10 chests around you that are broadcast. You can craft out of those to your inventory at any time.
Wow. Okay. So wireless storage. Then.
Yes, wireless chest. Yeah. The chest you can access in crafting menus. So if you go to like a smithing table, you can access whatever would be there. Cartography table. As long as you had all the stuff in a chest and it was being broadcast wirelessly, more or less, when you go to the cartography table, you don't have to have the banner on you, the die on you. As long as the die box is broadcasting and the wool box is broadcasting and the wood, you can make your banners, do everything you need to do, and never have it in your inventory.
See, I think that's a bit too modded, but I tell you what's a good go-between from that, and that's the same as the Tinker's Smeltery mod, where if you got a chest next to the workstation that you're working on, it will take items out of that chest. So I would like that. That would be great.
It has a radius. It only works within 10 blocks.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, I still think that's probably a bit much for Minecraft, but just, yeah, certainly something along those lines that would help.
But the inventory, the first part, I seen that when we were doing that Skyblock series and I fell in love with it there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds amazing. Jeez. Okay. Right. Slack. What's Aiden Shin got to say?
Aiden says, hi again, Foxy, Slack, and Jessie. Aiden again. My question this week is, what is your favorite Minecraft update and why? And what is your least favorite Minecraft update and why?
Jessie.
Favorite Minecraft update is possibly, what is the one where we got the ability to fly with rockets?
That was the 1.8 1.12.2.
Yeah, I remember it was
1.10.2, something like that.
Yeah, it was after the elytra were added, because at first you could just glide with the elytra, but the second we were able to fly with rockets, it was a game changer for me. Like that, it turned
with a punch bow.
What?
Sorry, you didn't like shooting yourself with a punch bow?
No. Oh gosh, wow. That takes me right back. Yeah, no, was not a fan of that because I would oftentimes just die because I didn't realize I hadn't eaten, so it was unfortunate. But yeah, so that's probably my favorite. I think it's the one that changed my gameplay the most. It brought me to my love of the end. Yeah, just absolutely love it. The one I dislike the most is one that gets me in trouble every time I say it. People have thoughts and opinions. I hate And I'm sorry, I hate the aquatic update. It genuinely just you. So yeah, that's it.
It was 1.11.1.
Ah, there you go.
So there you go. Yeah, totally random. I was doing my 1.11 update series when it came out on Java Edition, and I remember literally walking to somewhere in the miles away, saying, "These Elytra are great, but wouldn't it be great if you could like have a jetpack or rocket booster or something like that to fly with them?" And then like a couple of weeks later, the 11.1 minor update come out, and I'm like, "Oh, thank you." Yeah. Anyway, that doesn't help with this question, does it? I don't know. I think my favorite update still has to be the colorful update where we got all the different colors of stained glass and all that sort of stuff, because and concrete, I think we got with that one as well. I like a lot of the stuff we've had from these later updates, but the more the updates go on, the more they seem to affect things like world generation, which I find annoying because it affects your world and you've got to prune, and it just, for me, it's like if you know when you slip into creative mode when you're playing survival and it sort of taints the world and you sort of lose interest in it. As soon as they do that to your Minecraft world, you're playing in a world and they announce that, oh, in 6 months or in 3 months we're going to put this hotfix out and it's going to change how biomes work, or we're going to add this, and it ruins my world. And I hate, as much as these mountains and new biomes are great, I don't want them. I don't want them to fiddle with the world. I want my world to be my world, and I want it to be the same when I start it as where I go. So I'd rather have more blocks and more items and more things to do. I'd rather have more redstone contraptions. I wouldn't even mind more entities as long as they're not, really annoying ones. So all of these updates we've had recently have all had massive world changes. I would say the Village and Pillage because it was such a big update, and I think villagers have benefited from it from a lot. But it's ruined villages on Bedrock Edition. I still don't like the fact that you have to wait for them to restock all the time, and they lose connection to their all that sort of stuff. And the pillagers are really annoying. So I don't know. You've got to go a long way back for me to go, I really like that update.
As far as an update that I don't like, I am really torn on which one it is. Like Village and Pillage, I did not like. I'm in a lot of agreement with you about the way the villagers changed. But I
like the fact they got new jobs. I don't like the way they changed the trading.
Yeah. And I don't like, or rather, I didn't like aquatic at all. And I guess that's more from a technical side because of how many things broke with kelp and pending tick and mobs. And at that time for Bedrock, that was a bad update.
The oceans are loads better now. I don't like the dolphins. No. I'm not too fussed about the turtles. Yeah, but I'm glad we got all the new fish, and I'm glad we got the coral, and I'm glad we got even though the kelp was broken, I'm glad we got all those things. So I gotta say that I'm warmer to the aquatic update than I was the ones to follow it.
Actually, my favorite update was Nether update.
Oh yeah, my favorite recent one.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's my favorite. Yep.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's a massive world change thing, generation change, but it's not my overworld. So I'm not so
the Nether was dead. It needed it. Like the end needs something.
Yeah. Or maybe to get around this problem of like them adding new world generation and tweaking world generation. Maybe, we've like joked about the end city portal taking you to a flat world. Maybe they should have a way of building a portal in the game that does literally take you into another world so that you can expand your world infinitely through other dimensions which are just more overworld. So you go, it isn't affecting my world that I live in. That's going to be exactly the same, but I can pop through this portal with all my stuff, take it with me, and go and play in a mountain that's it's a different dimension, but it's, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, can I steal a 7 days feature here? When you generate a world there, you can pick sliders. Do I want more plains? Do I want more mountains? Do I want more lakes? Do I want more rivers? Do I want less?
Yeah, no, I'm not interested in that. I just don't want the updates to effectively taint my world by going, all the biomes have shifted about now, so it's not going to be the same as it was. I want to experience the new things without it affecting what I've already got going on. And I know it's how well it's in the distance and you can prune the world and all that sort of stuff, but it's just, I don't know, I've got It's a really weird way of looking at it. And if you go on I had on one of my Java servers where you could have portals that literally take you to other servers, and you can't you maintain your inventory and things like that. I just want that in survival, so I can go, okay, I'm going through here and it's effectively a different world. It's even probably listed in my Minecraft worlds as a different world, or maybe it's all stored in the same world database. I don't know, but it's a different dimension that is just overworld, and I can go and harvest that for all the stuff I want without affecting my main world.
Yep, but we did that with our server here a while back when we switched to NodeCraft. We were working on it with CubeToast, but when we went to NodeCraft, it became easier because of the partner deal we got. You can literally go between, like, at that time we had the FireLizard server, and you could go between that and my Patreon server and Jen's Patreon server, and you could choose your inventory when we linked it all up. Okay, so I want to keep my inventory from FireLizard, and I could go through a nether portal. It looked like a nether portal to all these different worlds and keep my inventory, which were actually different servers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. What do you think, Jessie?
I like, sorry. I like the idea of having it be separate, because I think you're right. I think for people who start a world and they find who don't want it to change, it is kind of like, I don't want to say like a punch to the gut, but that's kind of what it feels like. Because I know plenty of people who started a world and they don't want to update because they want things to stay the way that they are. And I think having an option for that would be great. But I don't know necessarily that I'm on the same page with it being like, oh, well, you have to go somewhere out. Like there has to be a portal or whatever to get those updates. I don't know. I'm kind of torn. Personally, I like that they're adding these new generations. I think it makes Minecraft more interesting, but I can definitely see the argument for not liking them, I guess.
Not to dwell on this for too long, but just to add a little bit more to this. Another issue I have with this is that it's not so bad when they're adding in whole new biomes and things like that, but it's more of an issue where they go, okay, we've added in these biomes, and then the next few minor updates, and even maybe the next update, they change how they've added those biomes, or they've changed the distribution of them, or they go, oh, actually, the deep dark should have this in it instead of that. And you're like, well, the ones I've found are not right then. They're not. You know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, if they shouldn't put it out until it's done. And then if it's not right, then tough. You know, unless it's really genuinely broken, just don't fiddle with it. Leave it alone. Because you've done it now. You've put it out. It's released. Leave it alone. Stop fiddling with it.
That I can agree with for sure.
Well, I mean, don't we have kind of that situation like right now? Isn't there like a swamp that's like, don't touch until it gets fixed?
Me. Yeah, me. It's my swamp. I was like, don't you dare load it. I'm going to get so mad. So yeah. It is.
Is that because you want the clay?
Yeah. I want the clay. And so I was like, okay, there's a swamp that is near-ish to my mushroom island. You leave it alone.
The clay's renewable now. You can turn mud in the clay.
I don't care.
You just want the biome to be right, don't you? You want the biome to be right. You don't want to go there when it's clearly not finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Right. Okay. Moving on. Josh sent us an email. It said question in the subject, and all it said in the message was sent from my iPad. So thanks, Josh. Appreciate the question. Not sure if I can read between the lines and figure out what it is you're trying to ask
maybe
there. But
maybe it was a joke, kind of like how you said that, don't use this, don't use that.
Yeah, maybe. Just sending us blank questions. Thanks, Josh. Which leads us on to our last question.
Yeah, our last question is from Zeta. And they say, Dear Foxy, Slack, and Jessie, thank you for your open invitation to drop questions on any Discord. I have left questions on 5 Discords. How many have you found? Glad you weren't being sarcastic or anything. Love, Zeta.
I found all of them. Every single. Yeah, I did. I found them all, and I'm not going to read them out because I'm genuinely, they were so touching. They really spoke to me on a deep level, and to be honest, I feel changed. So thank you so much. I realized there was a sort of a level of private between me and you on that one, and it made me. I cried. So thank you so much.
Goodness.
Oh, right. Tearing up again. Speaking of which, I'm even more sad now because that's the end of the questions, which means we've only got to tell people what we're going to be doing this week before we finish. But before I do that, I just want to remind you all, if you do want to ask a question, if you want to send me some touching messages and make me cry again, then you can do by emailing news@theminecraftupdate.com or dropping us a thing on the feedback thing or the Discord. You know what? Just figure it out.
Carrier pigeons work real good. Just saying.
Yeah, no more smoke signals, though. I'm really worried about that neighbour's fence. I hope it didn't set fire to anything else. Jeez. Jessie, what are you going to be up to this week? I don't worry about the pigeon.
This week, I am going to have another video, and I'm going to be streaming 3 days, I believe, next week. So you're going to get real sick of me real quick, guys. Nice.
Slack?
I'm torn. I need to finish editing a video for this Friday, and honestly, I don't feel like doing it. But it's like, if I don't, it'll be the first Friday I've missed in like 8 months. So torn on that. Other than that, streams as normal as usual. Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Just it's every day.
No. I intentionally take Wednesday and Thursday off now. Wednesday is my personal day, and Thursday just because there's not scheduling conflicts with what we're doing like right now.
No, fair dues. Okay. Well, for me, I am not going to say this week that next week everything's going to be back to normal and I could be back on it. But I'm secretly thinking that. So we'll just have to wait and see how the week goes. But unfortunately for now, that is the end of this podcast. So as usual, I would like to say, see you later, everybody. Don't hit the doorbell on the way out, as I always do. And I'll catch you all when the sun's shining.
Bye, guys.
Tarnations. Good talk, Foxy. Good talk there.
I feel like they're getting better.
They getting something. I don't know about better, but they getting something.
I'm so done with you guys.
Good talk.
Bruno.
Oh, jeez.
Bruno.
See you later, guys.
Bye.